ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you join me from the driver's seat of a 2009 Corsa VXR. Now I get it, some people out there, I get ya, but this is a different one because it's got 101,000 miles on it. Now, interesting topic, a high mileage. I know 101,000 miles isn't loads of mileage, but a relatively higher mileage Corsa VXR. What's it like? Should you go and buy one? This has actually been gifted to me for the day from Apex Competitions, an Isle of Wight based competitions company. I wanted to go and drive it because it's got 101,000 miles on it. Now let me talk about that as we go down some B roads, see what this thing is like. As ever guys, make sure you like, share and subscribe to the channel, but onwards to the B roads. Let me hit you with this. 101,000 miles isn't loads of mileage. I understand that. But for a Corsa VXR, it actually is. Corsa VXRs are a funny one. I've driven enough of them. My friends have owned enough of them to know that you need to get a good one when buying one. So, if you are actually wanting to buy this car, you looked at the mileage, you'd be skeptical. I get that. But I've just seen probably the biggest amount of receipts for mods, for servicing, for various bits like refurbished gearbox, a complete compression test, loads of bits that's kept this car on the road. And since 2009 it is equated to 101,000 miles. Now the mileage dependent, you know, 100,000 miles on an Audi is perfect, but on one of these, skeptical. I get that. I've driven enough of them and low mileage ones to know that when you are in the market for one of these, you need to find a very, very nice one. This has got stacks and stacks of paperwork, services, just, you know, stuff to warrant you thinking, interesting. 100,000 miles or 100,000 miles plus on a Corsa VXR, it's a talking point. So I wanted to jump in this one today to find out what this one is like at 101,000 miles. Should you go for it? And what to expect when driving, or at least owning or buying one of these Corsa VXRs with a little bit of mileage on. Considering, let's be quite frank, and I'm not going to gloss over the idea that these cars do have some skeptical minds about them. People are a little bit, it's got a bit of mileage on it, I'm not too sure, I won't go for it. This one today I'm driving, right, is the exception. I do think they are out there, and I do think you can find a very nice version of this car if you really push and try and find one that's just got the receipts and the service histories and the, you know, various bits that these have, like a gearbox that's fresh, a clutch. This has got a Satch clutch on it, so it should be very, very good for a very long time. You know, I've got to hark back when these cars come out. I wanted one so bad. It was about 19 when these were on sort of, you know, the second-hand market. They're a couple of years old. I wanted one so bad, you have no idea. Couldn't afford one for love or money, but now you can pick one of these up for, you know, the sake of £3,000, £4,000 for one with a bit of mileage on. Should you? That's the question. Now today I'm driving this one, and I feel that that question is something that I was asking myself before I got in this car, but now I'm like, yeah, of course you should. If it's got some good service history, you know, the clutch, the gearbox, the piston, everything needs to be right. It needs to be looked after, and it needs to be just had the right service equipment put on these cars to make them drive and perform just like this one does today. It drives like one with 30,000 miles on it. It's crazy. If you went like that, you wouldn't have a clue that this car had that sort of mileage on it. You wouldn't even know that this car had this sort of mileage on it. No creaks, no bangs, no rattles. honestly, if you put a bit of paper over the mileage, and I got in this car, I think it had 40,000-50,000 miles on it. So it isn't really down to how much mileage, especially, is on one of these cars. This one is, you know, this is a prime example of the cars that I hope to see on the market that you guys are looking to buy. And I really wanted to shoot this car because I see these cars, I see them, you know, at 100,000 miles for about 3 grand, say. But I've never experienced one with a good bit of mileage, but with a good bit of service history. Some of them, you know, I've driven or have been in the past have felt like the mileage. They felt like they have really just had a hard life. They've been taken apart loads of times, and this is the biggest exception I have ever driven. It feels like a car with 40,000 miles on it. It boosts unbelievably. The IBAC springs that are just put on this one, again, this is a very cost-effective build if you wanted to build one of these up to this point where it's, you know, running over 200 horsepower. It's got a bit of mods, it's got a Scorpion exhaust system, an air filter, various things like that. It's not loads of money to get yourself into a car like this. Put it in 6th gear. Apart from the burble from the Scorpion exhaust system, it is like it left the factory, this car. And I've done high mileage cars before. I've done high mileage Honda Civics, A4 estates, like various things, and I love to come and enjoy a car that's got some mileage on it but has been kept together and kept up with the mileage. And this is a prime example. You know, I've driven ones with 30,000 miles on them that have exploded, and, you know, just through lack of maintenance and, you know, being abused, they feel like they've done 100,000 miles. This one is the flip opposite. It feels like it's done no mileage because it's been looked after, and it shows. It really does. It really does show. I think mileage is always a funny one for some people because they'll be skeptical because of what the reading is saying in front of them, and I worry about that being the only reason you wouldn't buy a car. The reality is you need to go and suss these cars out. You need to go and drive them and see what they're like. If I was buying this car today and I, you know, wanted to see what it was like and I took it out and it drove this good, I would go back and buy it instantly. Because although it says that mileage, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's a new car in here. It feels so nice to drive. Throwing it around the B roads especially. I remember why I wanted one of these when I was younger. I get that there's a persona about, oh, Corsas and nah, but honestly, when you get down a good road and drive it and experience and enjoy it, it's really hard to steer away from the ideas that these are just fantastic little cars. Yes, if you don't look after them, like many other cars, it will bite you in the arse the other end. I get that. Just find a nice one then and keep it up together and keep it nice. End of the day, you'll be very happy. On the other side. So yeah, guys, I'm not saying go out there and buy a high mileage Corsa VXR. That's not what I'm saying here. And I know there'll be people in the comments who are like, I can't believe you're telling people to go and buy high mileage Corsa VXR. At the end of the day, each car is different. I came into this slightly skeptical with the idea that this was a higher mileage Corsa VXR, but I wanted to go and review it. I want to go and understand what this car is like and understand that mileage on another car might be horrendous, but on this one, especially this one, don't let mileage be the cap as to why you wouldn't buy it, especially something like this. So yeah, guys, different angle with this video because I wanted to, 2nd gear, go and experience a hot hatch that I wanted back in the day that I couldn't afford. Now they're affordable, but they have mileage on them, should you? And I think if all the things line up and it's got good paperwork and it drives as well as this one does, it boosts, it turns, you are onto a winner. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did like this style of video, a high mileage hot hatch video, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you again to Apex Competitions for letting me take this car out today. See you all on the next one.